All right, now that you've collected your data, we're going to go ahead and analyze that data using page 9 of our interactive notebook for energy. We're going to go ahead and look at the calculation table that you're going to be completing. So our goal is to calculate the potential energy and kinetic energy of the cart at each point being the beginning and end of our ramp. All right, so I've kind of laid it out step by step for you. Change in potential energy is going to be mass of the cart times 9.81 times the change in height for the cart. And in order to find the change in height for the cart, we're going to go down to our data. We're going to say, well, our initial height was whatever this number was, right? Initial vertical position. And then we are going to subtract our final vertical position. And that will be our change in height. We're going to use that number. The mass of our cart, I told you guys, was 1 kilogram. So we're going to use that number. And so our change in potential energy is going to be that mass of 1 kilogram times 9.81 times that change in height number that you calculate. All right. So you're going to find the change in your potential energy. You'll notice that this is our potential energy equation, right? This is just mass times the acceleration of gravity times the height, okay? And so we're just taking the initial minus the final. And if by using a change in height rather than just the initial height, we don't have to calculate potential energy twice because we're already calculating that it started with something, and now we're basically saying that the bottom is going to be a height of 0. All right, then on to our initial kinetic energy, right? We're going to be using our kinetic energy equation of 1/2 times mass times velocity squared. We look down at the bottom and we notice, hey, we started with no initial velocity. If an object is not moving, does it have kinetic energy? Find out, okay? Then we're going to do the same thing for our final kinetic energy using that same equation, 1/2 times the mass of the cart times the final velocity. Remember, the mass of the cart is 1 kilogram. I gave that to you. You found final velocity in the bottom left corner of your simulation, so you're going to go ahead and calculate that one. Then the change in kinetic energy, you are just going to be taking your final kinetic energy, subtracting your initial kinetic energy, and that's going to give you your final kinetic energy. All right. So those calculations are pretty straightforward. That's your next step with the simulation.